time.
Here we go. Hello, everyone. Hi, Facebook land. I am Steph Pellish, and I am a women business coach and community curator. And I've created something called Teacup Entrepreneurs, and it's a community of women business owners who come together for connection, collaboration, and growth. And part of that community includes an expert series. And every month we bring in an expert, and I am so excited to bring today Jules Caldwell, who we're going to dive into. She's presenting next week for our expert series, and we're going to dive into all the things, why you should show up, how to reignite your passion for your business and your life. And thanks for being here today, Julie, and for connecting with me. So can you tell us a little bit about who you are to get started?
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for inviting me to join you, Steph. I'm really excited to be here and to help connect with your community of women entrepreneurs. One of the things that I'm passionate about in the work that I do is helping women high achieving women, business women who have by society standards checked all the boxes for all the things we're supposed to do to be successful in life, go to school, get married, have kids, if that's what you want, climb the corporate ladder, do all those things. But inside are still feeling a little bit of misalignment about where they're going or what they're doing. And so I'm super passionate about helping them remember those things that they have perhaps buried in the journey of living life. I don't know about you, but as life goes on, I often put myself aside. And so I love to help reignite women and get them excited about what they're starting to do in their life or what they want to do in their life.
Yeah, I love this because, I was one of those women who wanted to get married, wanted to have kids, wanted to do all of the things, and saw this perfect vision of what my life would look like.
Yeah.
And then one day realized that all of those things didn't really bring me the satisfaction and the fulfillment that I thought it would.
Yeah.
And so working my way out of that was really a struggle, but it's where Teacup Entrepreneurs really came from, was my struggle coming out of that. And I'd love for you to talk about what do you do to help people get from that? Oh my goodness, where am I? This is not where I expected to be.
Yeah.
To us a little bit about that process of now what?
For sure. Well, I'm reminded of at some point in my journey, somebody said to me, what if a year from now, nothing has changed in your life or in your business? And I remember having a really visceral reaction to that question because I thought, oh my God, no way. I cannot be in the same place a year from now. I want more. I know I have more to offer, more people I want to serve with the vision and the ideas that I want to do. And so I really love to start conversations with that question. What if a year from now, things haven't changed in your life or in your business? And for the rare person, and actually this weekend, I ran into an occasion where I asked a woman that question and she was like, I'd be okay with that. And I'd be like, that is amazing. You were one in the few.
That is the goal, right? To have
Right.
that contentment, to have that wouldn't it be great if my life was still maybe a little bit better, but feel that fulfillment, feel that happiness.
Right? To know that we're in alignment with where we're at. And I think often what happens in our journey is we get caught up. We say, hey, we're going to build a business. We've got this great vision and this great idea. But there's a lot that needs to happen in order to bring that vision to life. And so we get lost in the doing of what we should be doing in the business, and sometimes get drawn to the shiny, attractive things that are new ways to build and market and lead magnets and whatever those processes and systems are. And if we're not crystal clear on what we want to do, I'm going to use some business terms, our target audience or our ideal client is, then we can move away from alignment with who we are and what we want. And so when I work with women who are in this place of transition or feeling misaligned, it's usually because they're pursuing something, or they've gone on a path, not intentionally, it's just sort of happened, where they're out of alignment with their vision, their values, or what they want to do. And so it's really about coming back and getting crystal clear, reminding ourselves of what we wanted to do, and then from there building a plan for how we want to move forward with it.
Yeah, I think too, you kind of mentioned something there too that triggered me in saying, it's also easy to get caught up in wanting to serve and wanting to build our audience and wanting to know who our ideal client is, that we actually forget what it is that we want from it. And
Yes.
so it does get misaligned. And so then it's hard and it feels like we're sludging through that business instead of allowing it to flow and be, again, like that fulfilling piece for us, as well as for our clients, our audience, our community, whatever it is might be that we're serving.
Yes. And then so that disconnect happens, and we're doing things for the sake of doing things, but no longer with that same meaning or purpose. And I think one of the things that my superpowers are helping people sort of get clarity about where they want to go, remind them of what's anchoring them in that vision of how they want to serve and who they want to serve, and how to do that in a way that's completely in alignment with who they are and how they want to live. And that means their lifestyle, in their relationships, and how they communicate. And I don't mean like getting deep into, the psychology of things. I'm not a counselor in that way. It's really just more about coming back to who you are and how you want to show up in the world and how you want to serve the people that you're working with, which I just think is so important. And often a lot of that comes with decision making. And so the decision making, if we're not clear about what we want and how we want to get there, we can go astray in different ways. And so one of the pieces in my journey is about, making informed, aligned decisions, which I think are really important as well, because if we don't make the right decision, it can take us in a direction that's going to be not in alignment with what we want.
Yeah, this is something that a few years ago I learned this trick about decision making too, because a lot of times as women, we've learned, or we just naturally sit in indecision because we can overthink what is the right decision, what is not the right decision. But that indecision is also a decision to not move forward.
Yes. Sometimes not making a decision is making a decision.
Yeah. And I actually last week working with a client, she's been sitting in this indecision for such a long time. And we've had the very similar conversations over and over. And I challenged her last week and I said, you have two decisions and you're not making them because they both feel scary.
Yes.
And neither one is really ideal right now in this moment, but she needs to make one.
Yeah.
Or she can stay in this indecision. But I challenged that indecision is really just, just as uncomfortable as making those decisions.
Yeah.
And so do you have some tips or tricks that you use to help make those decisions easier?
Because I do, for sure. And we'll go,
we'll out further to even know if it's the right decision or not.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll go into that a little bit more next week in more detail. And what I'm going to encourage for any of the women who sign up for the expert series session for next week with us is to bring a challenge or a problem or an opportunity that you feel you're facing right now in your business. So this is an applied, hands-on, tangible. You're going to walk away from this session and I'm going to guide you through what I call
So bring your notebook and your pen.
Bring your notebook and your pen or your laptop, whatever that looks like for you. I'm old school, though. I like the pen and paper. But we're going to look at sort of the 5D framework, and without getting too much into it, we're going to remind yourself about, the dream and the vision for what you had when you started your business. We're going to take some time to dig deeper to fear, right? That fear of change and resistance, or the fear of success often gets in the way. So we'll talk a little bit about the things that are keeping us from being able to move forward. And once we get clarity on what's stopping us, that's when we get to make these decisions and we get to design what we want our businesses or our lives to look like. Then we get to define and build a plan for how we want to go there, and you get to go do it. And so we'll talk a little bit about that next week and jump into something specific that you've got going on in your business that you want to look at.
I love that. Yeah. So part of our Teacup community, as I mentioned at the beginning, is that we bring an expert in every month. And so this month, our expert is Jules, and she and I have been connecting over the last few months about business and working alongside of each other as we grow our businesses.
Yep.
And it's been a great experience because you sometimes just have questions that really hit to the heart and bring some good reflections. Sometimes they're a little harder than others, but I'm very excited. This expert series is included in all of our Teacup Entrepreneur memberships, but it's also available. And I know I didn't put the link in the description, but I will add the link when we get done. I'll put it in the comments. So if you want to join us next week, It's Thursday, May 22nd at noon. We're going to go live inside the Zoom room, and Jules is going to share all about this knowledge, all about her 5-step framework to help us reignite that passion, to get out of our own ways, to design the life that we want, and to do it. So if you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to either one of us, to Jules or myself, if you're interested in learning more about Teacup Entrepreneurs. We are a local in-person community here in Blue Bell, Pennsylvania, but we do offer some virtual series, virtual meetings as well. So even if you're hanging around Jules in Canada, where she is, or around us here in Philadelphia, we'd love to have you join us next week. So you can find the link to register to join us and get all the details when we add that. But I would love to know, just what's something that you wish that women knew going forward today? Putting you on the spot here for a second. if you could go into a woman's brain today and just really embody and let her know something that's true, either about herself or about business, what is it that you wish you could just instill in her?
I think at the end of the day, such a great question. At the end of the day, the thing that I'm most passionate about is really helping women remember that their vision and their dreams and their hopes and their goals matter. And so if you've started your business or you've got this vision for the life that you want to live, don't let go of it. Hold on to that. It takes one tiny step, little tiny actions every day, accumulate and start bringing change. And so wherever you're at in your business, wherever you're at in your life, don't give up on the vision. And if you're feeling like you don't have a vision, I'm going to argue you do. But if you're like me, I'm one of those people that every time I picked up a role, a title, a responsibility as a mom, as a wife, as a volunteer, as a colleague, whatever that was, I pushed down all of those hopes and dreams and goals. And I came to a point in my life where I was just so dissatisfied with where I was at, feeling completely out of alignment. And so igniting, one of the things I do is I host a women's conference called the Ignite Women's Conference, and launching virtual this year, by the way. If you're interested in learning more, let me know. But the concept behind Ignite is, don't let yourself forget how valuable and important your hopes and dreams and goals are. I want you to feel ignited or reignited about the things that get you excited.
Yeah. And sometimes we need support for that, right? Because we can sit and we can think, oh, that dream is just a dream. It's not something that I can ever really do.
Yeah.
But it is. And finding someone to talk about your dreams with, finding a safe space, whether it's in Teacup Entrepreneurs, whether it's working with someone like Jules, who is going to help you not just remember the dream, find the dream, dig it out, but actually plan it
Build a
so that
plan.
you can go implement it.
Yeah. Hopes and dreams and goals are amazing, but they're nothing if we actually don't put a plan in place. And it's not about overcomplicating your life and getting a bunch of to-dos. It's really about, how do I want to move forward to the vision? What kind of life do I want to live? We hear that, concept of work-life balance, and I want to have flexibility in what I want to do. Have a vision for that. And then let's figure out what it looks like for you to get to where you want to go, and have your vision for success as well, Steph. That's another one that I'm super passionate about. I think society has created this expectation about what our vision for success is in our life. And I really encourage the women I work with to stop and remind themselves of their vision, or if they don't know what it is, create a vision for success in their mind, not what their parents or their spouses or their peers think, but what they want that to look like for them.
Yeah. And sometimes it's actually a lot simpler than we're making it out to be. Like, when we look at those goals, when we look at those dreams, right now I have a preschooler, and I take for granted, and sometimes I forget that part of my dream of owning my own business is to have flexibility to go be the mystery reader yesterday.
Yeah.
And I really sat with that, like, oh, this was my goal, so that I don't have to work a 9 to 5, or I don't have to work 40 hours a week for somebody else, so that I can create my own schedule, so that I can show up for 10 minutes and read a book to her class. But she was so ecstatic about that. Right. And so remembering, like, those simple dreams, it doesn't have to be, a home on the beach with overlooking the ocean and all this fancy stuff. It can just be those little things and those little routine moments in our day that can be part of that success.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, this was great, Jules. Thank you so much for this conversation. I am looking forward to learning more and diving more into this next week. I'm sure all of the people that are watching are excited as well to hear more of what you have to say. So like I said, you can go to teacupentrepreneurs.com/events and find all the information there. But we'll also put the link in the comments underneath all of these videos so that you can find them. Or you can reach out to Jules or myself at any time, and we can help you get to where you need to be to find all the information. So thank you guys so much for joining us. And Jules, I appreciate your time so very much.
Thank you. I look forward to our session next week. Remember, bring a problem or a challenge that you're facing in your business or in your life right now, and we're going to walk through that and help you get a vision to remember where you want to go and what you want to do with it.
Love it. All right.
Thanks, Steph.
Thank you.